my secret Canon setup. And the reason this is secret is this is a lighting setup that I created a few years ago to, Canon made some new printers, and they wanted me to test the levels of the blacks and the shadows and the inks. And so I wanted to create a lighting setup that would have a lot of dark areas to the image, and I wanted to have a lot of detail and a bunch of things. And so I created this sort of wacky setup, and I'm going to show it here today because A, it's sort of fun to do, and B, it sort of combines a lot of the science stuff that we were talking about, specifically shallow depth of field, the inverse square law, the neutral density filter that we haven't looked at yet. We're going to do all of those things. So we're going to build this setup, and we're going to walk through it step by step, and I'm going to explain to you why I'm doing what we're doing. And I like the portraits that this setup creates. It was originally created for a technical reason, to try to technically see how this printer could do, but I liked it so much, I sort of kept it a secret for a couple years because I didn't want people to steal off my technique. But now I'm going to show it to you because nobody stole it so far, so who cares? I'll share it. Yes, I have an ND filter in my bag, in my camera bag, which is somewhere around here, not that one. It's maybe somebody has absconded with my camera bag. You got it? Yeah, if you just bring that over. So what we're going to do is we need a stool as well, or a chair. Can we steal your stool? Here we go. Here we steal your stool. All right, so if you'll set that down, I'll grab that. What we're going to do here is we are going to start building this out. In a minute, Lex is going to be sitting here. And here it is.
The same lens?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot with a 24-70 lens. And the reason for that is, and this is not a portrait lens, but the reason for that is I wanted extreme shallow depth of field at f2.8. And to get that, I had to be very close to my subject. And so a 70 to 200 lens wouldn't work. And so what I'm doing here, and let me explain what I'm doing. This is a little tricky, actually. This is one of those demos that I'm like, I hope this works. No, it'll work great. This is a neutral density filter. It's a variable neutral density filter. And you can see that as I twist it, it gets darker and lighter. Okay, so these are the sunglasses I was talking about for your camera. So you can put this on, and what you can do is, if you're not sure how much light you want to remove from a scene, you can get one of these. And for example, if you're outside, let's say you're shooting at a shutter speed of, I don't know, you need to be at 200 because of a sync speed issue, and you want to be shooting at an aperture value of 2.8, and you're not sure how much you need to remove from the light to get to 2.8. What you can do is you can set your camera to manual mode, set your shutter speed to 200 where you want to be, your ISO to 100 where you want it to be, and then set your aperture to 2.8, and on the light meter inside your camera, it's going to show that you're overexposed if there's too much light. And then as you start dialing down the neutral density filter, and it's getting darker and darker, you'll see in your camera that needle on your light meter, or the little dot, or if you're a Nikon person, you'll see it actually move until you have the proper exposure. And once you have the proper exposure, you know to stop and you're set. So that's how you can set your camera to a specific shutter speed and aperture value if you're using a studio strobe outside, which we're going to do tomorrow, unless it pours on us, and then we'll do it here and emulate that. Okay, so that's why this is a variable. So it helps you get to a place when you're unsure how far you need to go. That makes sense so far? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this on my lens. Now the thing about a variable neutral density filter, specifically this one, and this one is made by, I don't even know who makes it. Somebody. It's made by, it's ProMaster. It's a ProMaster. That's what it is. Digital HGX. And it's a pretty nice neutral density filter. Hoya makes some pretty nice neutral density filters. They're going to run you for a nice one about 120, 125 bucks, something in that vicinity. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, depending on where you are. The thing with this is because of the way that neutral density filter works, it uses something called cross-polarization. We don't really need to know about that. It can cause issues with light coming through the filter. It can give you these little, they look like crosses at some points. And so if you are doing a lot of portrait work or studio work, traditionally it's better to use a normal neutral density filter, not a variable neutral density filter, because you could have some issues with some stuff showing up. And the other thing that we've noticed on this is it's not super accurate on the scale. So when I go all the way to max, and it should be 9 stops, it actually is 100% stopped, and you get no light in. And so you sort of have to fudge it just a little bit, and you'll see that as we work through. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring my normal 9-stop neutral density filter, so we're using this one instead, because you gotta roll with it. Okay, so that's this neutral density filter. Any questions on that? Okay, let's move forward. So what we're gonna do now is we wanna shoot at 2.8. Okay, that's the aperture value that I wanna shoot. And I know I'm gonna drop my neutral density filter to 9 stops. So normally when I would meter the light on a subject, I would meter it at 2.8. But I know it has to travel through these sunglasses, and I need 9 stops more light. And so if I normally would meter at f2.8, 9 stops brighter than that is, anybody wanna make a guess? f64. Very, very bright. And so for this, we're gonna use a pack that has a lot of power, and that is this Acute 2 pack. This, by the way, I've shot this with about, 10 people. They all say it's not a pleasurable experience. I'm sorry. So Lex is like, great. Yeah, sorry about that. So what we're gonna do here is, we're using this Acute pack because it's a 1200 watt second pack. It's pretty punchy, so we have 200 watts more than we do on the other light. So we're gonna get rid of this. The other thing I need, John, is the 2x3 softbox. 2x3 softbox. Yeah, I'll get this if you just grab that for me. Cool. Yep, perfect. So we're gonna build this out so we're really close. So I'm gonna take this guy here, I'm gonna put it up over. 2x3 softbox. Perfect. And we're gonna do this horizontally as well. Yeah, it's on there. Perfect, that's it. Good, good, good. Okay, so we're gonna do this. It's gonna be horizontal. I'm gonna put this on the ground. Put that about like that. The other thing I need is one of those black subtraction panels. All right, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna raise this up a little bit. And now it's time for Lex, for you to come on out here. And we're gonna start working with this. And by the way, what we're doing here is a process. If you'll just have a seat on that, thank you. This is a process that I highly recommend, and that is, I already know in my head what this shot is gonna look like. And so instead of setting something up and trying to figure out like what works best, I've designed this in my head first, and I'm gonna apply the principles of light that we've learned to make it actually happen. And so what we want is we want this to be directly behind her. So we're gonna move this back just a little bit, just like that. And what I'm using that for is I just want a dark background, because remember we said we wanted a dark scene to see the levels of black on this printer, so it sort of works. I asked Lex to wear a dark shirt as well, so this is gonna be a very dark image. So I'll get all that, John, don't worry about it. So the next thing I'm doing is I want to see how close I can get this softbox, because we need to make sure that we can meter this at f64. It's gonna be really, really close. So we're turning that on. I'm gonna turn this guy on, just like that. And for this, I know, and this is why I shot with the 24-70, I know that I'm gonna have to get in here underneath this to get these shots. This is really fun. So I'm not gonna take a picture yet, just seeing how close I can get. Okay, so I wanna make sure that this is as close as possible. We need to make sure that meter's at f64.
Need a pocket wizard for this?
Yes, we need a pocket wizard for this. And I'll grab a scene.
Sync cord.
Yep, I'll grab that really fast. And we have one somewhere in this bag of tricks here. There is an adapter. Is there an adapter? is there an adapter? Yes, here's one. Here's one. Yeah, take that. So we can trigger this. We're using the Pocket Wizard. Perfect. And I'll also get a Pocket Wizard to trigger that.
Watch your eyes. Might flash. Oh,
It's all plugged in?
ready. Ready, close.
All right, eyes closed.
45. We're stopping.
F45, and that's at full power, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
ISO 200 or?
No, what we're going to do here is we're going to move this closer. Yeah, if you just hold that there, and I'll trigger it, and tell me if it's at. And actually, on this one, we're going to meter at the forehead.
51, okay.
Yeah, 51,
57.
57.
Ready?
Yep.
64.
F64. Okay, F64. So look how close this is to her face. It is about 7 inches. And it's pretty toasty when we fire that off, right? So we're going to have rapid light fall off, which is what we want. So rapid light fall off, and because I'm shooting so close at 2.8, we're going to have rapid fall off of focus as well. So the light and the focus are both going to fall off sort of at the same rate. And so we're going to get this sort of interesting look here. One of the things I know that we're going to have to deal with here is my neutral density filter. Since it's a variable neutral density filter, it's a little bit picky where sometimes it doesn't get exactly at 9 stops. And so we might have to fudge our exposure just a little bit, and we know that, so that'll be okay. So I have my camera set to 200 shutter speed, aperture value of 2.8, and let's see what we get. Are you ready? It's going to be really fun. So this also, because this is so dark, I can't even focus. So what I'm going to have to do is open up this so I can see and focus. Once I get my focus, I'm going to have to reset that so that it works. So we're going to try getting this focus done. Kablamo. Bammo. All right, let's take a peek at this shot. And the thing I like about this, so what we have here is we have our light falling off pretty rapidly. You can see how it's getting much darker very rapidly, and you can see how our focus is falling off pretty rapidly as well. And so we're getting these dark edges around here. And what we can do with this is, the other thing that's really nice about this, because we are shooting so close, every detail is showing up. So that was the other thing that we wanted to do with this lighting setup, was to show off details of people's faces. And I shot this with a bunch of people, and Lex is wearing some makeup, but I didn't allow anybody else to wear makeup. They were totally, they're on my website at markwallacephotography.com. They're called Faces, and they were very brave because everything shows. So this, we have rapid light fall off. We're seeing how the depth of field is falling off pretty rapidly as well, and we get this really unique look. So I am curious if there is one of you that is brave enough to have your photo taken. You want to do it? All right. So Lex, we're going to bring you out. Yeah, just so we can see. Yeah. All right, have a seat there. And what we're going to have to do, John, if you have the meter, is we're going to have to position you where you're still at F64. So once you get there.
64.
F64, okay. And we'll sort of see how these portraits are sort of cool. And we'll see if I can actually focus in the dark. In the dark, there we go. Kablamo! Yeah, these are sort of fun. You see again, this is going to be, and this is also the reason why I had Lex wear a dark shirt, because the color in this sort of doesn't work for me. But you can sort of see, yeah, how this light is starting to fall off right here on the chin and on the sides, and it follows the depth of field. It's sort of fun. And again, we can see every detail. Every detail is there. Hello. I know, you can see all of that. It's pretty fun, right? Okay, so that was just sort of a fun illustration of a few different lighting principles. The question is, what style of lighting is this? Who knows? Butterfly. Yay! You all get 10 points. Do we have questions based on this?
You know, we had one from earlier about describing the difference between clam shell and butterfly, are they the same?
Well, no, they are the same. Clamshell light is butterfly light with a reflector.
Okay.
Yeah. So when you add that, you got a clamshell. So basically, butterfly light is that little butterfly shadow under the nose, and then when you throw in the reflector, it's clamshell light. So yeah, I should have said yesterday, or whenever we did that, that it's butterfly light, and now it's clamshell. Yeah, interchangeable almost.